Hey, welcome back to Delectable You Recipes for Life. Today we are making a winter comfort classic. Well, it's going to become a classic in your kitchen. It is truffled quinoa goat cheese mac and cheese. It is a mouthful, and it really is a mouthful. It is so delicious and velvety and smooth. And if you have an intolerance to lactose or dairy, you can have this in most cases because I'm only going to use goat cheese. A lot of people with a lactose intolerance or dairy intolerance can still have goat cheese, so you can do this. If you really can't have dairy at all, leave me a comment and I'll tell you what to do instead. And if you don't have any truffle oil, no worries, just use regular oil, but the truffle oil just makes it so much better. So maybe get some truffle oil. All right, I'm gonna show you what to do. All right, so I've already done a little bit of prep work for you. I've already cooked my quinoa, which we'll get to in a minute. I've cooked some gluten-free pasta, which we'll get to in a minute. And I've also sauteed an onion with 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. And what I'm gonna do, they're nice and translucent. They were sauteing for about 15 minutes on medium heat, and they're so delicious. I just want to eat them like this, but we're not going to eat them like this. We're going to put them in a food processor, and we're going to add a few other ingredients, and we're going to make our cheese sauce. So there we go. Okay, so we've got our garlic, we've got our sauteed onions in our food processor, and now we're going to add about a teaspoon and a half of sea salt. You know, I just eyeball everything. And then we're gonna add about a half a teaspoon of ground pepper. Here we go, and if you like pepper, which I do, you can add a little more. It adds a little bite. If you like spice, you can even add cayenne in this step, but don't add too much because your mouth's gonna be on fire. All right, next is 3/4 of a cup of cashews that have actually been soaking for about 2 hours. If you forget to soak them when you start to make this recipe, don't worry about it, just use them anyway, it's okay. It'll just be a little bit crunchier, and crunchier never hurt anybody. All right, we're gonna add about 1/4 of a cup of almond milk. If you're allergic to almonds, then pick another nut milk. If you really don't care about dairy, you can use regular milk or goat milk or whatever you want. So let's just blend this together until it's nice and smooth. Well, let's plug it in first. Always do that. Here we go. Right, I'm just gonna stop it because I want to get all of these little guys that are trapped along the wall, trying to avoid the blade. I don't blame you, little guys, but that's not gonna work for me. Here we go. Okay. Okay, that is smooth enough for me. Oh my God, that's so good. Now, while this was doing its thing, I swapped out that other pan for 2 things. So what I've got here is some quinoa. This was 1 cup of raw quinoa. I just cooked it according to the instructions on the package, which is 2 cups of water, and then you cook it for 18 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. And I also, just because I like texture, you know, I'm kind of the texture queen, I did a cup of uncooked, cooked it obviously, gluten-free pasta. Now, I like to do a short pasta, not a long one, for obvious reasons. So you can pick whichever one you want. Now, I'm going to marry these 2 things together in the same pot. Now, the important thing with this pot is that this pot can go into the oven. That one cannot, okay? So that's key. If you can't make that happen, I'll tell you what you can do if you just leave a comment below, okay? Now we're going to take our sauce and we're gonna dump it all over our pasta and our quinoa. Don't worry, the cheese is coming. I did not forget about the cheese. Okay. All right. Now, what I've done is I've grated about a half a cup. Maybe I was heavy-handed. Okay, maybe it was a full cup. Yeah, it looks like a full cup. Half a cup to a full cup of goat cheddar. And I'm going to take half of it and I'm going to stir it in the quinoa and pasta with the sauce. And just keep stirring it until it starts melting and everything is all incorporated. Okay, as that's coming together, I've got to add, oh, look at that. I'll lick my finger. You're not supposed to do that, but whatever. I'm going to add a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and a tablespoon of truffle oil. Oh, hello. Oh, yes. Now, you don't want to overkill it with the truffle because truffle is delicious and everything, but you can overkill things and we don't want to do that. And now, just because we want to make it a little healthier, we're going to add a handful of finely chopped parsley, and let's mix this all together. And what you're going to do is mix it together and then you're going to taste it. Taste it and see, does it need more salt? Does it need more pepper? Do I want it to be spicy, or should I add some cayenne? Should I add more truffle oil? Whatever, this is your concoction. So you get to choose how spicy, how salty, how peppery, how truffly you want it to be. And I guess cheesy, you could add some more cheese too. Okay, let's taste this. Actually, that's not the one I want to taste. Let's taste this. All right. Spices are good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth this out. I've got my oven set on broil, on high, because what I'd like to do is take the rest of my cheese, sprinkle it on top, and then I'm gonna broil and brown the cheese. Like, come on, this is the best thing ever. Can you imagine eating this on a winter afternoon? I mean, you won't care about the cold. If there's cheese and truffle to be had. Okay, so let me see if this is, yeah, this, I can handle this. So what we're gonna do is put this in the oven on broil on high until this is nice and bubbly and brown. It depends on where your shelf is, and it depends how hot your broiler is. So it could take 5, 10, even 15 minutes. I'm gonna start with 5, but keep an eye on it. Okay. I smell truffle and cheese, and I see a lot of browning cheese on that, so I'm gonna pull this out, and it's been about 10 minutes. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh. Like, come on. Look at that. Don't you just want to eat the whole thing right now? Because I do, but you gotta be careful because obviously this just came out of the oven, so it's very hot. So here's what I recommend. Make this for, you know, a nice holiday, post-holiday I should say, potluck, and make everybody happy, and just put this down in the middle of the table and just listen to people go, oh my God, you're the best cook in the world, and take it all in because you are. It is so delicious. If you happen to have any leftovers, which I don't think you will, but if you do, this will keep in the fridge probably for up to 5 or 6 days. It's never lasted that long in my house, not since I started making it. Sometimes I like to get a little crazy and serve it with some cholula sauce or some hot sauce, just because that's how I roll. You do whatever you want, but don't put ketchup on it, okay? Ketchup is gonna ruin it. Just don't do that. That's it. There is your truffled goat cheese quinoa gluten-free mac and cheese. I hope that you enjoy it, that it warms you up this winter, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been Lauren with Delectable You.